Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Lynn Allen Sion. I'm the president and CEO of the Orange County Chamber of Commerce, and I want to welcome you to today's Meet the Member. I am thrilled today to be able to chat with our good friend, Michelle McKeown from Recap. And first, I want to thank our sponsor for today's Meet the Member, which is Scene Lab, who does all the technology for us and has been really, really helpful because then we don't have to pay attention to the technology. We can just chat.
True.
So I want to thank you, Scene Lab, Eric, and Joe, for all of your assistance with today's broadcast. So, Michelle, I want to welcome you today, and I want to thank you for being here. And I'm adjusting my computer.
My pleasure.
So I want to thank you for being here today because, aside from the fact that you and I are really good friends and that Recap is very much a part of the chamber, I'm going to say this, and I'm saying this because I know you would never say this, but the past 3 months have been very difficult for many people and traumatic and life-shattering for many people. And there have been many people who have truly stepped into the gap to fill those needs. So on behalf of the chamber, my board, our membership, I want to thank you and Recap for feeding thousands of people over the past 3 months and for delivering meals throughout the day and for making sure that people have jobs and that people have food. Because I don't know how many times, including today, I have texted you and you said, I'm delivering meals, I'm delivering food. And so thank you, Michelle. Thank you for standing in the gap to make sure that people who are exceptionally vulnerable during this time have their basic needs met. And one of those is food. So thank you very much for that. Thank you for your heart in taking care of Orange County. We really appreciate it. And I know you would not even draw attention to that yourself. So I figure I have to do it.
Well, I thank you on behalf of certainly Charlie Quinn, who's Recap CEO, and I work for an organization that can fill the gaps when necessary. A CAP agency, which is what Recap is. Part of our mission is to be flexible and fluid enough to step in when there is a crisis, and we certainly learned that when the tornado hit in 2018 in the city of Newburgh, and we were able to kind of step into the gap there. So it's been a total team effort. The Recap staff have just gone above and beyond in the office, some working remotely. Our Head Start staff, held virtual learning every single day. And, we got to peek into the classrooms to watch what they were doing. And it was breathtaking. And certainly, our Fresh Start Cafe, which, we'll probably talk about a little bit more. They at one point were making about 300 meals a day and getting them out the door and delivered to folks in need. And I can't say enough about their effort, about our volunteers' effort. In April and May and the beginning of June, we had volunteers daily from Grace Community Church and the town of Newburgh come in and just, help us help everybody else. And that is the true meaning of community. And we are so proud to live in a community where I can call and say, I need volunteers, and people show up.
And we are, and just so that you didn't lose me, it's just the technology where you're talking. I'm still here. But you don't see it because it was all about you. So,
okay. Oh God, just what I love.
So, but those things are important because we are in such a, I don't want to say fluid, but every day is changing. Every day we all sit and we wait to see what the governor's newest, comment is. We're geared to go here in the Mid-Hudson to go into phase 4 early next week. Today, New York City went into phase 3, but they're not allowed to have in dining. So they have to still stay outside. So with everything, there's always changes. So we wait to see what's happening because we have to be able to help our members. So as you're being flexible, we all have to be flexible. This has been a very, very difficult time for a lot of people. But you had mentioned as far as the flexibility of the programming, Recap does an amazing amount of work, an amazing amount of services, the breadth of services that you provide. Can you just give a brief overview of some of the services that you provide, not necessarily specific to the pandemic or COVID related, but just generally?
absolutely. So recap, we actually in April of 2020, we were celebrating and we were supposed to have a big event to celebrate our 55th birthday in Orange County, serving our community. And we are so proud of that work. And, we target and we serve a little bit of everybody. We serve seniors and children and veterans and those living with HIV and AIDS, those struggling with substance use disorder, victims of domestic violence, those recently released from incarceration, and anyone living at or below the poverty line. And we do that in a variety of ways. We have 3 Head Start programs. We have supportive housing. We have a parole reentry program. We have our workforce development programs, which was led by the Fresh Start Cafe, which actually ceased operations yesterday because of budget cuts. But our Mill Street Cafe in Middletown is still open and operating and taking trainees and doing all the cooking that I mentioned. Once we unpause, we want to make sure that everybody comes back and everybody comes back safely. The Mill Street Cafe is still available for catering and in dining. We have an outdoor patio that people can sit. So I encourage people to go to Mill Street. We also have weatherization and energy conservation services. So if you're struggling with your cooling, if you need an air conditioner, you can apply through the Department of Social Services and we can give you an air conditioner. We have case management. We have a residential and non-residential treatment center for those with substance use disorder. So we really provide wraparound services for as many of our community members and neighbors as we possibly can, and we do so through a variety of ways, and have been doing so since 1965 in this community. And when usually when I go through the services, people say, "I didn't know you did all that," and we are, one of the best kept secrets in Orange County, because I think people think of RECAP as one thing, but we are the state's designated community action program and anti-poverty program in the county, and we're very proud to hold that title.
And as well, you should be. I mean, to be around for 50 years, 55 years, 50 years is
Mm-hmm.
55 significant. It's significant. It's tremendously significant. Um, and how are you seeing, just to shift this a little bit more towards, what's going on now? What are some of the things that you're seeing? Are you seeing obviously, I think, an uptick in food delivery, but where are you seeing an uptick in services that you would say is, due to the pandemic and due to, COVID related?
Definitely food insecurity it has always been an issue. It's heightened now, especially because of COVID. I believe that insecurity will increase as the unemployment benefits begin to kind of stop I believe at the end of July. That extra $600
Yes.
goes away.
Can I just interrupt you
So
for a
I
minute?
think,
Can I
yeah.
just interrupt you for 1 minute? Could you just explain what food insecurity is? Because you and I, you live with that word. I
Oh,
know what that word means, but not everybody understands that.
yeah. Absolutely. In its basic terms is people who are unable to purchase or access food in their local communities. They don't have enough resources to make ends meet. So, those who are eligible can apply for SNAP, which is, the not so new name for food stamps, but they're the same. There's an enhanced benefit right now for SNAP that people can access, but it's sometimes just not enough, and not everyone is eligible for SNAP. And especially during the pandemic, where people were asked to stay home, we didn't want our seniors going to the grocery store and getting their food. So being able to deliver meals to our seniors, those who are vulnerable, just made much more sense than asking them to line up at a food pantry. We did curbside delivery. We had staff run out to somebody's car, masked and gloved, and do it right through the window. So food insecurity is an issue in Orange County. It's been heightened by the pandemic. And going forward, we really have to talk about what that looks like. If we're expecting another wave, hopefully it doesn't happen in the fall, how long can you keep emergency food delivery, preparation,
Mhm.
pickup going, because after a while, it's no longer emergency. It's just the status of
Mhm.
things. And this type of effort is not, it's not sustainable long term. I mean, every Friday and Saturday, we are taking food from the generosity of the food bank of the Hudson Valley, and we're through ourselves, our staff, and our volunteers sending it out all day long. It's like another full-time job. So it's really something we have to talk about. We have to talk about what was commonly known as food deserts, which is actually
Mhm.
more aptly titled food apartheid, where there are no walkable grocery stores with healthy, affordable food in a particular area. In the city of Newburgh, in the city of Port Jervis, and in the city of Middletown, they are all what's considered either food apartheid or food deserts. What do we do to address that? How do we talk to our leaders who can make those decisions or help guide those decisions? Put a grocery store somewhere walkable in the city of Middletown or in the city of Newburgh. They're really big conversations. Housing is another concern we're going to have going forward. There's been a moratorium of evictions. You
Right.
can't evict for non-payment of rent. We have some real concerns about what happens when that moratorium um, is lifted, because my concern is that we're going to have a lot of people who are still not working or not working full time, and they're going to be starting eviction processes. New York State has put a lot of money into housing stability. We have some money for some housing stability, and we really want to make sure that those in need can access us. And then you're going to be looking at childcare. You're going to be looking at all of the issues that happen to people who live in poverty, amplified during a crisis. How do we, as a community, we know what RECAP is going to do. How do we, as a community, work together as a whole? We've had some really wonderful partners during this. Matt from Newburgh Habitat for Humanity gave us his Restore van for like 4 consecutive weekends to help us get food
Wow.
out. Catholic Charities gave us boxes and boxes and boxes to put our food in, and then helped us deliver. So our community partners in so many ways have stepped up, and then we were able to feed other agencies
Mhm.
clients. So we fed folks at Safe Harbor, we fed folks at Fearless, we fed folks at a bunch of different places, because they didn't have the opportunity or the ability to do it, so we stepped in the gap and are able to do it.
That's it's incredible. We only have 15 minutes today,
Mhm.
so there's a lot to pack into it. But
Yeah.
so you've seen food, you've seen housing. I mean, we're concerned, when that added $600 a week ends. The HEROES Act is still in the Senate. That hasn't been
Hmm.
passed yet. So there's a lot
Hmm.
of things still out there. PPP sunsetted yesterday.
Yeah.
So there's still a lot of things happening. Where do you see this going as far as you had mentioned that this isn't sustainable?
Hmm.
What do you need right now? What does recap need? What does recap need?
In the immediate, volunteers. We're doing senior dining delivery every single day, and we do it from Port Jervis, to Highland Falls. I was just in Pine Island. And by the way, people, mark your houses better, because I'm driving around looking for 514. I have no idea where 514. I can't imagine what EMS goes through, or the police departments. But volunteers in the short term, and in the long term, I think it's going to be incumbent on all of us on looking at service delivery different. There is an unbelievable budget shortfall in the state that
Yes.
is certainly going to trickle down into the county. How do we, as a community, really and truly partner to make sure that we're delivering, and that we're delivering services that are at the convenience of our clients, not the convenience of our staff? So those are big conversations that we're going to be needing to have on multiple levels. And we need to make sure we have the sweat equity and the will to have really difficult conversations around funding.
And that's going to be a separate conversation. I know the funding issue, because I know we are looking at a huge deficit in New York State, massive. So
Yes.
if somebody needs services or they want to volunteer, what's the best way to get a hold of you, Michelle?
So you can always reach me on my cell phone, 914-980-8151. You can also call the main number at Recap at 342-3978. And then if you're interested in doing senior dining, you can ask for Aileen. She's been coordinating the effort with our case management staff, and they have been amazing. And, for us, it's all about community. It's about our partnership with the chamber. It's about our partnerships with, Access and Independent Living and Mental Health Association and Catholic Charities, who's been a wonderful partner. So it's really about coming together. And on our end, it's a huge thank you to the Recap staff. A huge thank you to Charlie Quinn, who, when I say, hey, we're thinking about doing something at a church with food delivery, he says, okay, just be careful and get it done, right? And you don't often find a boss who is that willing to embrace the ideas that sometimes come at 3:00 in the morning. And he is, which I'm very, very thankful for. Today I'm really thankful because I had to break into my sister's house to find a place to do this interview. So thanks, Lee and Billy, even though you're on vacation. I think for us, it's being part of this community we're really proud of. We have our golf outing on September 14th. So if anybody's interested in sponsoring or playing, we would love for you to contact us. We're gonna do something at City Winery this month, socially distanced and with masks, to really celebrate our 55th and kind of kick off the rest of the year. So please look for that. And we're really excited that the last half of 2020 is going to be fantastic.
It's going to be here on July. 6 months have passed already, and that's the grapes, growlers, and grains that you're doing.
Yes.
So
yeah,
that
we're doing a modified version of just grapes.
Okay, just grapes. So that will be in our to make sure we get the flyer, because that'll be in our member happenings. So if anybody out there wants to go, you can also see it in the member happenings, which go out on Fridays. So Michelle, our time is over, and I just want to thank you. This was quick, real quick. Want to thank you very much, and we should be very proud of ourselves. The Lord of the Rings and Doctor Who did not come in once, so I think Gene Sexton may be disappointed.
I'm a little disappointed, by the way.
But it did come in. I do want to just mention
anywhere, anytime, Lynn. In time.
I know. One thing I do want to thank you, Michelle, is that you had mentioned that your staff is gloved and masked, and that's really, really important, so that that your consumers feel safe, and that they know that the proper safety protocols are in place. I do want to just reinforce to everybody: please make sure you wear your masks. Please, please, please make sure you wear your masks. It's really vitally important. Our numbers here in Orange County are good. Our numbers in New York are good. We want to make sure that they stay good. We want to make sure that we stay at that 1% positive testing rate. So just make sure you wear your mask. Yesterday, Michelle knows this, had a very unfortunate experience in one of our supermarkets. A man took off his mask, sneezed, blew his nose, and wandered around and then put his mask back on. And that kind of defeats the purpose. So please make sure you wear a mask. We need to protect people who are vulnerable. It's really vitally, vitally important. If you do need PPE, if you're a business, please contact us. We are able to get it through the county at discount rates. So please feel free to contact us. You can also contact Access Business Solutions. They have lots of hand sanitizer. You can buy it there, and by purchasing it through Access, you're also ensuring that people with disabilities stay employed. Do you want to also make sure that you remember that next Monday is Tool Factory Outlet with Suzanne Schindler, a woman-owned business for years was Hannah Schindler. So that will be next Monday. And Michelle, I want to thank you for being here today. I want to thank Leanne also for letting you break into our house, and your sister. And I want to thank everybody out there in Orange County. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week.